Hi there. My name is Phasmophobia. What you're about to watch is something created for Halloween. Now that being said, some may call this frightening, or even grotesque. Viewer discretion is advised. Others may call it simply gaming, which is the scariest thing of all. But for me, it's my only way out of hell. And you know what they say, the only way out is through.
Oh, what the hell? I just got back to my own dimension. And you're telling me it's already Halloween? Yeah, you're a real piece of shit, you know that? Other universe you was way nicer. I hate October. I mean, this happens every damn year. But he's right, though. I'm gonna have to look at these games in order to save my soul. Oh, come on. Are we serious right now? We're covering me with the genre? Oh, you gotta be joking. There's 8 of them? What, 4 wasn't enough? Man, how am I supposed to get this done by October 31st? I mean, this video is gonna get like 25 views anyway, which is why you should like and subscribe. Man, screw that guy, am I right? What an asshole. But no, really, I do need to get cooking here, because it's already October 28th as of filming this. Horror games are really popular. I mean, like, really fucking popular. And how can they not be? They make you feel a little something. Just go on Roblox and walk through some jump scares. They'll make you pee yourself. Trust me, I've done it. So getting on with this stupid list, I'm going with the first one, a popular horror classic. Now, for this I had to decide between Silent Hill 2 and Resident Evil. Now, don't get me wrong, they're both massive successes and shaped the genre. Also, I would love to go through the franchises for a video someday. But today is not that day. I'm going with Resident Evil solely because it's the bigger franchise. Sorry to Silent Hill fans, but I'm sure you'll recover. Resident Evil 1. This was the first ever game to be called a survival horror game. It literally created the genre. It's incredibly critically acclaimed. At the time, it was Game Master's top 100 games of all time, 14th in the list. And in 2012, it was named one of the 100 greatest games of all time. If this game is that good, I think it definitely deserves the category of popular classic. The game starts off with Alpha Team of the Raccoon City Special Tactics and Rescue Service, or STARS for short. They were cooking with that acronym. Alpha Team is heading out to the Arclay Forest where Bravo Team was sent to investigate some cannibals. They find out Bravo Team's helicopter was crashed. While exploring the forest, the group is attacked by some dogs and run off to a mansion, and they even lose a man on the way. How the story goes from here varies based on whose story you pick. Now, there is a canon story, you know, what actually happened, but we don't ever get to play through that story. Instead, we get to play as either Chris or Jill, with Chris being the hard mode. Playing as Chris, there's only yourself, Jill, and Captain Wesker, who have made it into the mansion. Chris gets separated from the group, meets the sole survivor of Bravo Team, Rebecca, and finds more and more bodies of Bravo Team along the way. We come to find out that the mansion is full of zombies and monsters. Now, as you can imagine, this is pretty disheartening. Chris works with Rebecca, eventually goes on to meet Wesker, and he finds out that Wesker is an asshole who's actually one of the guys who made the virus, the Tyrant virus. It was being made as a biological weapon. You confront Wesker, and he goes on to unleash his ultimate super soldier guy here, and you fight it off. You can choose to save Jill if you do some extra shit, or you can save Rebecca. You can also save them both, or you can just save yourself. Both Chris and Jill have 4 endings, and they all depend on who you save. Over in Jill's story, Rebecca doesn't exist anymore. The only ones who make it to the mansion are Barry, yourself, and Wesker. The entire game, you're able to work with Barry, but he ends up getting used by Captain Wesker. This ends, you guys take out Wesker, you can optionally save Chris, and escape with the same amount of endings that Chris can. And without getting into the nitty-gritty of everything, that's pretty much it. Oh, and the mansion blows up behind you in some of the endings. If you don't blow it up though, the death just continues. The canon ending is where all 4 characters, Chris, Jill, Rebecca, and Barry, all make it out alive and the mansion blows up. But we never see that ending in the game. It's an interesting choice on the developer's part. Alright, so what about the gameplay? Was it worth the hype? Obviously, it's aged a bit. It's from 1996 on the original PlayStation and Saturn. It also weirdly almost got released on the Game Boy Color. Thankfully, the ROM for that game does exist. It's a pretty faithful version of Resident Evil on the color, which is very surprising knowing what other Game Boy Color games look like. Very impressive stuff. Yeah, anyway, the game is dark and gritty, and it's a bit slow too. The game not having auto-aim definitely hurts with the game's controls. These enemies are vicious, and it also doesn't help that they come at you from angles you literally can't see. It is a horror game though, so I actually kind of think that works in the game's favor. You find a variety of weapons throughout the game. You start off with a combat knife, and you eventually find a Beretta, a shotgun, flamethrower, or even a Magnum. The Magnum is definitely one of the strongest guns in this game. Same with the shotgun. If you manage to get close up and aim up, you can actually take out zombies with one headshot, saving some ammo. If you take damage, you can heal yourself using these roots that you find around the mansion. Oh, and speaking of the mansion, who the hell built this place? It's full of puzzles, like clicking the right pictures to avoid getting eaten by crows. There are crest puzzles. Some things have to be opened at just the right time. You have to place a broken shotgun down to get the good shotgun. You have to hand crank an entire fucking hallway. I mean, it's damn weird. I do enjoy the puzzles though, especially when you're low on health. It's fun avoiding enemies when you don't know what's coming next. The game isn't big on horror like what we see these days. And it's also a bit easy to game these monsters. But overall, it's a difficult game that keeps you on the edge of your seat. And if you want something more recent, they did a 2002 remake for the GameCube, which looks so much better. They also later ported that game to the Wii with motion controls. And we got an HD version in 2015, which is available on Steam. It's definitely the best way to enjoy the first game's story. Even if the Game Boy Color is the most interesting way to play the game. I would love to do a video on the Resident Evil series someday, but I am definitely not doing that before Halloween, especially since I'm starting this video mid-October. Holy shit, I only have a few days left. I gotta get moving. Resident Evil is a huge classic, yada yada, on to the next one. For the next one, we've got some obscure horror. Well, I could just do The Ring Terror's Realm for time's sake since I've already done a video on it, which you should definitely go check out and bump up my 52 views on it. That just sounds too cheap. So in light of that, what better way to honor the obscure category than by using the horror game Obscure? Obscure, another survival horror game that doesn't get talked about too much. While it originally released in 2004, it is still available on Steam for $7. But of course, you can just get a ROM for PS2 very easily. But I would never do that. I mean, stealing? Who do you take me for? Obscure follows 5 teenagers who attend Leafmore High School. We start off with Kenny, who's just finishing basketball practice. You can shoot some hoops before going to the locker room to shower. Kenny walks painfully fucking slowly though. Thank God he can run. After your gym bag gets stolen, you go to find it, and of course you venture off into what looks like the world's scariest basement. You somehow find a fucking gun on campus and follow some scary noises instead of just getting the hell out of there. Because of course you do. You find somebody locked down there, who eventually dies, discover giant monsters, and eventually get trapped down there as the way out is blocked. Kenny's girlfriend Ashley and his sister Shannon get worried, so they go on to tell their friend Josh, and the three of them wait till after school to check things out. They get locked in their school overnight though. The kids come across some monsters who are pretty weak to light and die in sunlight. You also find Stan, their junkie friend, and together everyone works together to figure out what the hell happened to Kenny. You come to find out that the principal is in on all of this. Which, I could have just told you that one. He has some rare spores from Africa that mutate you, but help you live forever. Unless you're in the sunlight. Yeah, okay, Demon Slayer. Along the way, the students get infected, but they'll make it for now. His brother Leonard turns into a much bigger monster, and you defeat him in the end. Everyone wins. Even Kenny, who's somehow still alive. The graphics aren't terrible for 2004, but the character models definitely aged. The characters control exactly how you want them to, but the combat is nothing extraordinary. Playing as the kids, you mollywop on some monsters over and over, and flash them with light as much as possible. Breaking windows while the sun is still out also helps. I like how occasionally you can just kinda hear somebody screaming in the background. There's an occasional puzzle, but it doesn't feel as pressured as Resident Evil. It's just not a very scary game though. Hell, the scariest part of the game is the music, which is genuinely pretty good for a horror game. Listen to this shit. The monsters aren't the biggest threats in video game history either though. The last boss fight is the toughest fight in the game, though it eventually turns into a battle of attrition on if your health can last long enough for the sun to shine. There's also lots of random, not helpful stuff on the walls. It builds the world, I guess, but not much else. I know it sounds like I'm saying that it's a nothing burger of a game, but it's not that bad. It's actually a fun game that is definitely from its time. It's engaging anyway. For $7 on Steam, or through illegal means that I will not mention any further, it's not worth your time. Moving on through our list, we've got Cry of Fear for a budget game, because it's free. Can't get much better than that. Although, again, there is plenty of budget on Roblox. Cry of Fear is very story-driven. We play as Simon, who was just hit by a car and left in an alley. After this, Simon comes into contact with tons of monsters and an evil doctor who tries to kill you more than once. Throughout the game, you pick up lots of weapons, kill chainsaw monsters, this guy called Carcass, and watch your childhood crush commit suicide. The game sends lots of enemies your way very unexpectedly, and some of these even feel like small jump scares. We come to find out in the end that everything that happened here was in Simon's mind. After the car crash, he ended up in a wheelchair. There are 4 main endings and an extra weird one too. Most of them either have Simon killing himself, killing his crush, killing his therapist, or all of the above. One of them even has the real Simon in a wheelchair killing Gain Simon, but we find out it was a mental episode, and Simon actually killed 2 police officers. Yeah, you either end up in a mental institution or dead by the end of the game. As for the extra ending, you have to play the game twice for that one, and it ends with Simon meeting the man who hit him with his car. That man just so happens to be the protagonist of the game this studio made prior to Cry of Fear. Pretty cool shit. The whole game is pretty cool. It's very dark, and the plot twist at the end makes it feel very grim. It's a look into this man's psyche. It's like one of those just a glimpse into my dark reality memes, but this time it's for real. Great game, especially when it's for free. Definitely give it a look. Moving right along, because believe me, I gotta get the hell out of here. For popular mid-2010s, we've got just the perfect choice. That time period was when I was in school, and so many people were looking at stuff like Slenderman and shit. But I'm taking the top dog, Five Nights at Freddy's. This was literally the game to play as a YouTuber back then. There's a ton of lore here, but you can explain this shit for hours. It's a security guard who gets hired on the night shift for Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. Yeah, that's who you play as. You have to get through the night balancing limited power between opening and closing the doors next to you, keeping the lights on, and checking the cameras. As time goes on, the animatronics will start moving around you and getting more and more bold. You've got to close the door in their faces before they get the chance to kill you. With that being said, there's some differences between the games, but they're mostly the same idea. Except for the newer ones, of course. And because of that, I played the second game for this video, solely because it's the only one I actually own. And for no other reason. The animatronics killing you is terrifying. The jump scare has gotten thousands of people. This franchise has gotten so popular. Basically, everyone has heard of it. There's even a movie that came out semi-recently. Depending on who you ask, the movie was either dog shit or an amazing representation of the lore. Now, I think it was a dog shit horror movie. But sure, it's good for the lore or whatever. Anyway, back to the game. The animatronics are possessed with the souls of children. Without getting into too many of the lore specifics, that's kind of it. It's a real simple premise, but it's got a hell of a lot of replayability. You can play these games for a very long time, and it just keeps getting challenging. Seriously, they're not too expensive. I definitely recommend them. On to weird horror games. As a Sonic fan, I gotta go with Typing of the Dead, just because it's made by Sega. The Typing of the Dead is an arcade game that's actually a mod of Sega's other horror game, The House of the Dead, specifically the second one. So the story of The House of the Dead isn't too complicated. Some asshole doctor plans to use his army of zombies to kill the population. You play as 2 guys trying to stop him. In the second game, you play as 2 other agents, as some other scientist dude reveals himself as the big bad guy and tries to unleash his zombies again. This time, it's in Italy. In the end, you fight against the big boss called the Emperor. Now for the gameplay, the big part. Instead of pointing a gun and shooting, which is, you know, how it would usually go, in front of all the zombies and monsters, a set of letters appear in front of them that you have to type. And the faster you type, the better your score will be. It's pretty special. I mean, never before has this genre seen anything like this. There's also little Easter eggs thrown in, like little dream casts. Sega loves using them in games. In the end, depending on what you type, the ending changes, with one ending seeing the bad guy literally flying away. Shit is crazy out here. They definitely leaned into the humor aspect of this game, and I gotta respect it. There's a newer set of these on Steam these days called The Typing of the Dead Overkill, based on The House of the Dead Overkill. You gotta love Sega for keeping something like this going. You can find this game pretty easily online too. It's not exactly the greatest game ever, but it's really unique if that's up your alley. Moving on to the fun stuff. A Halloween-themed game. I'm going for Pumpkin Jack. This has actually been on my Steam wishlist for years now. but I managed to pick it up for less than $3 with a sale. Lucky me. This game is a wonderful look for Halloween, and the music is fucking fantastic. It's not exactly a horror game, but the Halloween theming is top-notch. What if I told you this game was made by one single guy? Insane. The game takes place on Earth where life is peaceful, until the devil decides to unleash monsters onto Earth. The humans ask a wizard to stop the devil, so the devil asks our main man, Jack, to stop the wizard in exchange for being in the devil's good graces. You beat tons of enemies, make your way to the wizard, and beat him. Evil wins in this story, and the world is taken over by monsters and Jack. As you go through the game and beat levels and bosses, you get new tools of destruction for use that all have unique animations. The game is a lot of platforming, along with a hack and slash thing going on. Hack and slashes usually have a problem with being repetitive, and that problem isn't huge here with platforming to back it up, but it does still exist. The boss battles are way better, I think. You platform around attacks, sort of like Crash Bandicoot. The art design is where this game really shines, though. The developer did an amazing job with this. The colors, the mist, everything comes together in a really Halloween way. Love the game, and for $3, the value is insane. It's worth the full price tag too, but this was a steal. Moving on to Horror with Friends, I have a lot of experience with two of these, so I'm doing a 2-for-1. Both of them are very popular though, so you'll probably know them. Starting off with Dead by Daylight, this game can be insanely fun. It follows 4 survivors trying to get away from a killer. The killer, who happens to be another player, is trying to sacrifice them on hooks to something called the Entity. The killers are powered up by the Entity too. These killers are from a variety of franchises, like Stranger Things, Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Castlevania, and of course, Five Nights at Freddy's. They've got fucking Springtrap. I mean, this guy's insane. The survivors are also from a variety of franchises too. The 4 survivors need to stay alive and turn on 5 generators around the map to escape. They're able to hide in a variety of different ways, run, heal each other, all that good stuff. They can also have items like toolboxes for faster generator fixing and flashlights for blinding the killer, which is insanely hard to do, by the way. A lot of people are really good at Survivor by juking the killer, but I think being bad at the game is way more fun. It makes it scarier. Definitely not me coping with being bad. The survivors also get a variety of perks to help them out. The killers all act in different ways. Some can turn invisible, some can send out a clone of themselves, some have ranged attacks, and some can even teleport. It's a real competitive game that's a lot of fun. It's been around for a while now, and for good reason. It's on sale as of now on Steam too. Lots of replayability here with regular updates. This shit keeps you on the edge of your seat. But you know what else keeps you on the edge of your seat? The second choice for this category, Phasmophobia. Phasmophobia is insanely fun. I have it on good authority from a real ghost hunter that Phasmophobia is scarier than the real thing. You play in a group, or solo if you want, but it will be harder, to finish contracts of identifying ghosts in haunted areas. You go into houses, lighthouses, or schools. The bigger the map, the harder it is. The prison and school maps are really fucking tough. You go in there with tools and identify ghosts based on evidence. Like if they speak to you through a spirit box, if you find UV handprints, all that good stuff. You get more money if you can correctly identify the ghosts. And you lose money if people in your group die. You can then spend that money on more equipment for the next trip in there. Standing in there by yourself, trying to get evidence on the spirit box, is terrifying with your friends outside. I've jumped more than once while playing this. There's also a huge number of ghosts available of all different kinds, like spirits, demons, banshees, and more. These ghosts also respond directly to your talking, and they do not like being insulted. Honestly, I found enough evidence to show me one ghost, and then it turned out to be a completely different ghost. I mean, maybe I'm just stupid, but it has happened to me more than once. Either way, the game is suspenseful and nerve-wracking. It's a must-play for the season. Finally, we've got a modern-day giant. I considered doing another Five Nights game or a newer Resident Evil game, but I decided to go with a different franchise to keep things fresh. Mortuary Assistant has grown huge recently, and for good reason. You play as a girl named Rebecca just starting off her new job as a mortuary's assistant. It's for her old teacher, Raymond Delver. The game is very story-driven. As you go through the motions of being his assistant, you come to find out that you're being haunted by a demon who wants nothing more than to possess you. Raymond has been fighting off these demons for a very long time, and now you're in on it too. They use everything they can to get at you, mostly using using you at your worst. People love the jump scares in this game. The suspense as you do a regular job, knowing there's something else in here. It's pretty damn scary. The chosen job is also quite morbid too. It's a perfect choice for this kind of game. There are multiple possible endings here. One of them having Rebecca and her late dad making up, and another giving us a possessed Rebecca killing Raymond. Dark as hell. Raymond isn't a saint either though. He ties up women and uses them to keep himself alive. The game has been a huge success, and the scare factor is worth a playthrough. Go check it out. Alright, that was all 8 games. Can I finally be released now? I would love to go get some Chipotle. Other Universe had jack shit to eat. Jackass. Anyway, these videos have followed a bit of a story ever since my Sonic Riders video, with a couple mentions of older videos like my Sonic Games on the Game Gear video, or my Sonic Educational Games video, and I'm pretty proud of that. I don't know if they're going to continue with any kind of story, but who knows? Maybe I'll kick Cappuccino's ass for Christmas. However, to keep up with the story up until now, you should definitely go watch some of my other Sonic videos. They're pretty good quality if you ask me. Anyway, that's about it. Happy Halloween, everyone, and I hope all of you adults out there go out trick-or-treating tonight. Because, you know, everyone loves giving candy to adults.